What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, and we have another transfer video for you today. Only 4 days left until the end of the transfer window. Tottenham still got so much business to get done. Only signed Ndombele. We know we've got problems at fullback still to solve, and we've got obviously the problem with Christian Eriksen that's still going on, and there's some other players leaving. But we'll get into what the news that's been going on today. We'll start here. Sky Sports News: Tottenham in for Ryan Sessegnon. It says here, Tottenham in Ryan Sessegnon talks with Fulham. Tottenham in talks with Fulham over the signing of Ryan Sessegnon. Sky Sports understands. Not exactly groundbreaking news there from Sky Sports. We knew all summer Tottenham were very likely to be in for Ryan Sessegnon. Obviously, it's been dragging on for a long time. Tottenham not wanting to overpay for a player who's going to be running out of contract in a year's time. But with Danny Rose looking to leave before the end of the transfer window, will Tottenham maybe want to speed up the process of bringing in Ryan Sessegnon instead of waiting until his contract runs out? So we'll kind of see what happens here. But let's see what Sky Sports is saying. All parties are believed to be hopeful a deal can be concluded for the 19-year-old before the transfer window closes on Thursday. The versatile left-sided player is a long-term target for Mauricio Pochettino, who has already added Tanguy Ndombele to his squad this summer in a record-breaking deal. Sessgnon has returned to the Championship club with Fulham this season following the relegation. He scored 2 goals and assisted 6 last season in what was his debut top-flight campaign. Now, people say he disappointed in his debut campaign. Now, he is only 19 years old, and given the fact he has such a good season in the Championship the year before, I think over 15 goals from left side, from left back or left mid, I can understand people's thoughts. But for a young player who was in and out of the Fulham side, wasn't sure of his best position, he still produced 2 goals and 6 assists for a team that got relegated, albeit as well. I think that's not a total to be sniffed at. I think it's a player with a lot of potential. I think if he can come in under Pochettino's tutelage, if he can learn under Pochettino, every fullback has come to Tottenham has improved immeasurably. So I think he would be a fantastic addition to Spurs. I think he would be offer long-term assurance that we have a long-term replacement for Danny Rose. Even if Rose leaves at the end of the season for nothing, then I still think we have a good replacement there in Ryan Sessegnon. And I think even if we sign him now and loan him back for a year, I still think that's a good signing for us, because it looks like now, given Rose has been playing the last few pre-season games, it looks like he's going to be staying. So I don't think it's vital for us to get this over the line before the deadline. I'm not too bothered whether it's now or we even sign him in January for a lesser fee. As long as we get him through the door, that's the most important thing. But Sky Sports News are saying they're hopeful that Spurs and Fulham are both hopeful a deal can be done before the Thursday deadline. Let us know your thoughts on that deal. There was some bad news coming out on the injury front from Spurs regarding Juan Foyth. He says, after undergoing assessment over the past few days, we can confirm Juan Foyth has sustained lateral ligament injury to his left ankle following a challenge in our Audi Cup match against Bayern Munich. The Argentina international, who will miss the opening 2 games due to suspension, will now undergo a period of rehabilitation and is expected to return to training in September. So Foyth has been ruled out for at least a month, probably maybe a bit more, judging by, they didn't say early September, they just said September. So doesn't say when exactly, but given he was one of our right back options going to the season, and he's injured for a period of time, it could force Tottenham into the market. And that brings us on to our next story. Also coming from Sky Sports News, Napoli's Elside Hysaj considered as Tottenham assess right back options after Juan Foyth injury. So it looks like Tottenham could be tempted to dip into the market for a right back if Juan Foyth's injury is even worse than maybe Spurs are saying. If they're saying September, but maybe that he could have a relapse, or who knows, maybe it's not going to be so easy to recover from. Maybe he will only start training in September and he'll only be available later on, or maybe Tottenham just are interested in signing a right back. Anyway, I've always thought Hysaj has been a fairly decent right back. I don't think he's world class, but I think he's been a pretty solid player for Napoli. I think he's pretty good on the ball. He's 25 years old. He's Albanian. I think he played around 25, 26 games last season for Napoli in the Serie A. I think he's a pretty decent right back. But let's go into the story. Tottenham are now considering Napoli's Elside Hysaj as they explore potential new right-back options following an injury to Juan Foyth. Sky Sports understands. Foyth is expected to be out for many weeks, according to Pochettino, having emerged as a leading right-back candidate for the new season. Tottenham have been open to entering the market for a new right-sided fullback following the sale of Kieran Trippier. Selling him to Atletico Madrid. Since joining from Empoli in 2015, Hysaj has made over 130 appearances for Napoli and has been capped 46 times for Albania. Sky Sports News reported earlier this summer that Marseille's international Hiroki Sakai is another one they like, but they have concerns over his age, him being 29. Pochettino played youngster Kyle Walker-Peters as a right back as Spurs drew 1-1 and lost on penalties to Inter Milan, which I was there for. I actually thought he had a pretty decent game. And he actually did impress, and he has been impressed pre-season. And to be fair, I'm going to be completely fair to Kyle Walker-Peters, except for that mistake against Barcelona. Whenever he has been called upon in the first team, I think he's done a really good job. I think he's done an above-average job most of the time. Most people I see on Twitter saying he's not good enough for the Premier League and he'll never be good enough. I think literally they're basing it on that performance he had in Barcelona, where I didn't even think he was that bad. He just kind of made that mistake early doors, and I think he recovered. He got 3 assists in one game against Bournemouth. He is against Newcastle in the opening day of the season a couple of years ago. I thought he did a great job there. He got man of the match against Leicester last day of the season, in 17-18. He got 2 assists in that game, and I thought he had a really, really good game. I think it's harsh to write him off straight away. I'm not sure what you would base why you're writing off. Just if you look at his frame, maybe he's a bit slim. He's not that strong. I can understand people maybe having reservations over him, but I think whenever he's been called upon, he's done a good job. I think he hasn't done anything to suggest that he can't compete at this level or the Premier League is too much for him. So I think the fans writing Kyle Walker-Peters off is harsh. I get that he's young. He has had many appearances. Would I want Kyle Walker-Peters starting as our main right back going into the season? Probably not. I'd want another one in there. But I like the look of him. I think he has a lot to offer. I think going forward, I think he's proved he can contribute. And so I'm not too disheartened if he was one of our options. It'll be his second choice. Obviously, Serge Aurier is still at the club. He's just come back from injury. There's pictures of him in first team training, so hopefully he'll be fit for the start of the season. I think him as well had a decent season last season though, but we all know with Serge Aurier, he's always prone to a rush of blood to the head and to a mistake, and he's got all the facets to be a really good right back. He's got strength, he's got decent crossing ability, he's got speed. He just needs to get his head right, and I think he could be a really good option for us. But can we rely on him for a whole season? Maybe not. This is why Tottenham, and with Juan Foyth's injury now, this is why Tottenham looks like they're looking at Hysaj. And let's have a few. Obviously, once we're linked to the player, you got to get the YouTube compilation up, and I think this guy has pretty decent ability on the ball. I've seen him a few times. Obviously, I don't watch Napoli regularly. I know he can play right back and left back. He's played both wings. He's obviously more adept at being a right back, but he's played left back before as well. But I think defensively, he's pretty solid, and going forward, he's not explosive. He won't get you loads of assists, but he will get you the odd assist. I think he'll put in a few good crosses now and then. He's not Kieran Trippier ability, but he's not terrible at crossing. So I think he would be a good addition. I think whether he would be there for the long term remains to be seen. But the rumours of a £20 million valuation for him. I wouldn't be too disappointed if we would sign him. I think it gives us another option at right back. It doesn't make us so reliant on the options that we have. And I think he has potential to, as we know, Pochettino fullbacks to improve a lot under him. So he has a lot of potential to even get better than he is. And look, these are pretty decent passes you can see in this Napoli team. Obviously, that's to Higuain there quite a few years ago, but he's only 25. He has scope. He could have scope to improve, and I think it would be a solid signing if we were to, wrap this up. But I wouldn't be that disheartened, in my opinion, if we didn't get him. I can, 20 million in this market isn't a lot of money. But if it was to prevent us getting one of Lo Celso or Bruno Fernandes, I would would rather go Walker Peters and Aurier and wait for Foyth to come back from injury. But if we were to sign him, that'd be a good deal. I think I'd be happy with that. I think I'd get another right back in competition, another one who could potentially improve. And it will show a bit of ambition that we're not just gonna go with what we got, and we're gonna try and improve and create some competition at right back. So there you have it. Just a few more words, I guess. All right. Just a few more things to talk about. There's obviously a lot of talk about Lo Celso last night, and if you go on Twitter, you will see so many different reports, and you can see here you're seeing range from Real Betis have now withdrawn their negotiations for Lo Celso last night to Tottenham have agreed a deal for Real Betis player Lo Celso. Tottenham resumed negotiations with Real Betis for Lo Celso. Duncan Castle saying Tottenham have reached an agreement for Lo Celso for 52 million. Clearly no one really has a clue what the hell is going on with Giovanni Lo Celso. So many conflicting reports. I don't know what to believe. Each less reliable than the other. Seemingly every half an hour there's a new report on Giovanni Lo Celso. He's agreed a deal about 138 times. He's agreed a deal this summer, which is really doing my head in. I think maybe I stopped looking at these Twitter rooms because I seem to believe everyone I read. Here's another one. Tottenham closing in on Giovanni Lo Celso. We've been closing in since June, since we made a bid at the end of May, I think, or near the beginning of June. We made a £53 million bid, which was seemingly rejected. So it's been like these rumours. Admittedly, Bruno Fernandes, as you see there, not much has happened in the past few days in terms of rumours, but it's really toing and froing with this Lo Celso deal. Any concrete updates we'll give you, but there are a few videos made last night. Lo Celso saying the deal was done and it was going to happen based on a few reports, but there's really nothing for me to suggest this deal is imminent just yet. I haven't seen any concrete report saying Giovanni Lo Celso is about to sign, so I will just wait for that to come through. Anything, as I say, concrete, will update you. The Metro are reporting a deal is close with Man United for Christian Eriksen for a 5-year deal for 60 million. They're saying Man United are close to reaching an agreement with Tottenham for Christian Eriksen, but they're exciting reports in Spain. Obviously, he came on against Inter Milan in the friendly. He really looked off the pace. A lot of people accusing him of his head being in the clouds. He missed 2 penalties in his last 2 shootouts, but people conveniently forget that he did score the second goal against Bayern Munich with a really nice strike. Really good finish. So that's obviously forgotten when people talk about his really poor pre-season form. Obviously he hasn't signed a contract. The deadline is in 4 days' time. They're saying that there's a lot of reports saying that Tottenham could still yet sell Christian Eriksen after the transfer deadline has closed. That's why we're going for Lo Celso and Bruno Fernandes. I said when we were linked to Lo Celso in the first place, I'd be very, very surprised if we sign Lo Celso and it's not dependent on the Eriksen deal. It seems as though what the situation is, what I understand from what I've read, I'm not obviously a journalist, but from what I've read is Tottenham are looking to sign Lo Celso and Bruno Fernandes in case Eriksen is to leave after the window. And if Eriksen does not sign a contract, then Lo Celso or Fernandes will be our starting choice midfielder, with Eriksen having to contain a place on the bench. A bit like when Toby was refusing to sign a contract and Pochettino chose to play Sanchez over him, even in the FA Cup semi-final, I remember, against Man United. When Toby was back fit, he decided to play Sanchez because Toby was faffing about with his contract and wasn't committing to the team, and so he chose to play Sanchez. So that's kind of the situation I can see us being in. Whether he will be at Spurs the beginning at next season, obviously when the season starts it looks like he will be, but whether when the transfer window closes for the rest of Europe, whether he'll still be at Spurs remains to be seen. I'm not convinced whether he will be. I would be very disappointed if we did sell him to Man United. I think I would be disappointed in him because he's going to a Europa League club who are not in a good way at the moment. And I'd be disappointed in Spurs, who I think are giving a very good player to Man United now, and I think he'll improve them a lot. And I think it'll be a very good signing, giving them one of the best playmakers in Europe, in my opinion, on his day. So that would be gutting. Do I think Lo Celso or Fernandes and Eriksen will all be in the same squad? I think they will be, but I can see it causing friction with Eriksen if he doesn't sign, and I can see him spending a lot of time on the bench if that was to be the case. But anyway, there you go. That's our transfer update for the day. Let us know what you think. Do you think Sessegnon will sign before the deadline? Do you think Tottenham will get Lo Celso or Bruno Fernandes in before the window is up? Is Eriksen going to be at Spurs after the transfer window closes for the whole of Europe? Do you want him to be at Spurs? And do you think Hysaj should be part of our business before the end of the window? Do you think we need another right back? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you like our content. And as always, come on you Spurs.